Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. It's Kelly Brianna and today I'm going to be showing you how I made my robe for my maternity shoot. So first I was just getting my machine ready so that I could start sewing, or not that I could start sewing, but so that it'll be ready when it's time for me to start sewing, and I got all my thread together as well. As you can see, I have a daughter. Well, now I have two. So if you hear either one of them in the background, just keep on watching. So right now, what I'm doing is getting the fabric together, and I got a robe that I had already and kind of went off that. But of course, the robe was short, so I just had to add extra length, and basically I just eyeballed it because this robe was kind of hard. So yeah, just bear with me and try to make sense of everything as you go. So basically this robe is made up of a back piece, a solid back piece, and two front pieces. So what I did was I made all of my pieces the same size basically. So there was 4 pieces, and I connected 2 to make the solid back piece, and then I connected each front piece to the side of the back piece. And I know it's kind of hard. I'm probably not explaining it the best way I can, but I will link the video down below that I followed when I was making this robe. So here I'm cutting out essentially just 2 big circles, and these are going to be my sleeves. So I'm making the big circles, and then I'm going to cut a little hole on the side, so that's where my arm is going to go through. So this is what I meant by I connected the 2 pieces to make the back piece, and then you can see me laying down the front pieces on the top, and then I'm gonna sew along the sides, and that's how I'm gonna connect the front pieces to the back piece. Now I hope it makes a whole lot more sense now that you're seeing me do it. Also, if you see me at the very beginning when I was rolling out the layers of fabric, I made the back piece out of 3 layers of fabric, and then the 2 front pieces are only made out of 2 layers of fabric. And you can see me trying it on as I go to make sure everything is looking good, which you can't really see because this fabric is really light. But I assembled my sleeves here, and the sleeves were made out of 2 layers of fabric. And for everybody that's actually gonna attempt to make this robe, here is where it gets so frustrating and so time consuming, but you can get it done, so don't be discouraged. I cut each bolt of fabric into either 3 or 4. The ones that I cut up into 3 were about 9 to 10 inches long, or should I say 8 to 10 inches long, and then the ones that I cut up into 4 were about 6 inches long. And the 6-inch long pieces I'm gonna attach to the circle part of my sleeve, and then the 8 to 10 inch pieces are gonna be attached to the actual robe. So I actually only cut 1 bolt of fabric into 4 pieces, and I'm going to be using 2 of them at a time to gather or ruffle up the fabric. So it's going to make 2 super long pieces of fabric that are gathered together. And how I did it was I just put the 2 pieces together, and then I sewed straight down the middle, but I kind of gathered it with my finger before it went under the needle, and you can see me doing that here. Now, being 8 months pregnant at the time, it was such a hassle to sit up here and ruffle all this fabric up. So I did outsource. I went to my local seamstress and I paid her to ruffle up, I think, 2 more layers. Well, 4 layers, so it was 2 more 9-inch pieces. And I did, I think, two pieces myself, and I did the 6-inch pieces myself. So now I'm actually gonna start attaching those ruffles to my actual robe. So like I said, I'm putting the 6-inch ruffles onto my sleeves, and I'm gonna start by sewing the center of the ruffle onto the very edge of the sleeve. So the very edge of the fabric is where the center of the first ruffle is gonna go. So after I've sewn down the first layer of the ruffles, yeah, baby, calm down. I folded the first layer over and then start sewing the center of the second layer about 2 to 3 inches apart, so that way when all the ruffles are loose. This was my theory on making the robe and the ruffles fuller. So fast forward, I've sewn 2 layers of ruffles on each sleeve, and then I started to sew 2 layers of fabric at the bottom of the robe, and then 2 layers of fabric at the, I think I did 1 layer of 9-inch fabric right across the top. So you can see where the bulky fabric at the bottom ends. That's where I did the 2 layers at the bottom, and then where you see the, I guess, separation is where the neck piece was. So that's where I did the 2 layers. And then, so for the rest, I just sewed in the U shape as best as I could until the robe was complete. So it turns out I had way too much fabric, so the 2 ruffles that I got done, I ended up just using them in the photo shoot on the ground to make everything look a lot fuller. But that's the finished product.